Hello. Wait. Yes, we are live. Happy Thursday to everyone. Hope you're enjoying their week. Pretty much had a break-even Wednesday. The bets I posted on the ticket went 2 and 3, but I did have that Knicks under, or not the Knicks under. What under did I have? The Pistons Hornets. That's what it was. So pretty much a break-even for me. Got 7 games tonight. A little bit heavier as far as Thursdays go. We'll take a look. And first up, Jazz on the road in Washington to play the Wizards. Jazz minus 7.5. Wizards plus 7.5. Over 245. Under 245. All right. Prop Beaver, do you have a move here?
I'm just gonna take the over in this game. The Jazz are pretty damn good, but I don't know if I want to lay the 7.5 on the road here. So I think the over is the best move. Their defense has completely fallen off a cliff lately. The last 3 games, they are dead last in defensive efficiency, allowing 129.5 points per 100 possession. It's hard to put into words just how bad that is. And I feel like their offense is a bit undervalued because they played some pretty tough competition lately. OKC, Houston, the New Orleans Pelicans. Now they're facing the Wizards off a back-to-back. I mean, the team's 30th in defensive efficiency in those spots. And then on top of that, I like the matchup for the Jazz offense. They have a massive advantage on the glass and in the free-throw department, so they should be able to have their way and get free buckets. And then on top of that, they like to attack the rim a lot. And as we know with the Wizards, as we know with Gafford, there is no rim protection. So they should be able to put up a ton of points. But I also like Washington to score a bit here. As I was mentioning, that defense for Utah has been horrendous lately. And this is a team that loves to run in transition, 7th in frequency, 2nd in efficiency. Utah defense, not good at defending transition. Actually, they allow the most transition opportunities in the league and are only 15th in efficiency in those spots. So I'm going to go with the over here.
Josh.
We should mention that the Wizards have a new head coach for right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys saw that, right? Yeah, Brian Keefe.
Yeah.
Let me pull out all my Brian Keefe assistant coach stats that I have written down for you guys here. I don't have any, but I still am going to – I like points for Utah definitely more than I trust the Wizards, even at this point, even at home. Their defense at home is historically bad, one of the worst ever. Might finish in the last place for defensive rating. We'll see, but – I'm really just looking at Gafford unders in this one. I wanted to attack him last night and I chickened out for some stupid reason because he definitely went under. He actually got 10 points last night and then went cleanly under the rebound. So I'm combining them tonight against another bad matchup for him. I don't know how many minutes Walker Kessler is going to get. I'm done trying to predict that with Will Hardy because even in matchups where you're like, oh, they're playing the Cavs or whatever, it's like, oh, why did he play 18 minutes then? It doesn't make any sense, but you'd think you see bigger teams. In this one, if you were going to play Kessler, it's more just because he's like, let's dominate the weakest point of the Wizards, and I could see that. But either way, like the way that I think they'll continue to attack the rim with guys like Sexton in there, and even Chris Dunn when he's in there, it's push and press and go. And that's just exactly where the Wizards are weakest. And I don't know that Gafford will play more than like 20 minutes. We've seen him just sort of sit after a while. No real way to predict that at this point with with Brian Keefe in there as the coach right now. So I'm not going to worry about the minutes. I think regardless if he gets 25 plus, he's still a really bad matchup for him. So no rebounds available against the Jazz, as you mentioned, prop Beaver. So yeah, good to go with the Gafford under there.
I'm on Utah, and a lot of my reasoning for it, these guys have already said. I don't think Washington will have any answer for him at the rim. I also like a Walker Kessler over, but like they said, the rotations for the Jazz so unpredictable. But yeah, Utah should get whatever they want at the bucket, and I think the overreaction to the recent the reaction to the recent Jazz struggles is an overreaction. If you really just sit there and look, they lost to Oklahoma City, who's number one, a great team. And they were on a back-to-back. Actually, no, they weren't. The Golden State game got postponed. Cancel that. They lost to Oklahoma City. That's a great team. After that, they went on the road at Houston and lost in overtime. Like, is that a great loss? No, not that Houston's any good, but they're much better at home. So whatever. A lot of teams have lost to the Rockets in Houston this year. And then they went into New Orleans and got beat by the Pelicans. I just think it's just an overreaction to bail on the Jazz train. I know I'm 1-2 in my last 3 games betting the Jazz. If you count the money line loss, 1-3, but if you just extend the sample size 2 weeks back before that, I'm like 7-2 betting the Jazz. So, the Wizards are terrible, and I'm a little worried about the turnover numbers. Like I believe one of these guys mentioned Jazz have had some problems protecting the ball, and Wizards do force turnovers. But as a whole, Wizards offense likes to attack the basket and plays right into the strength of the Jazz defense. So they should win comfortably. Jazz minus 7.5.
Yeah,
Josh, I saw there was a
Go
Sexton. I made a Sexton graphic because that was amongst the props you sent. You want to talk about that one?
I was gonna jump into. Yeah, I definitely didn't want you to make that graphic in vain, and should mention that Colin Sexton. I've been calling him Colin Michael Jordan Sexton as of late, and I think Will Hardy finally tuned in to hear that, because he's finally giving him the minutes of a starting point guard. I'm taking it all. I really like the assists. It's finally up to 5.5. It's been at 4.5 for Sexton for so long that I just kept hitting it on repeat, and he kept hitting it for me. And now, Chris Dunn does take some assists from him when he's on the floor. That is something that he's really good at right now. But like I was saying, both of them are going to keep going to the rim. Sexton's going to be in the position to keep rebounding as well, which I think there will be a good amount of those. And then the assists can just come like the Swiss cheese defense of the Wizards, allowing everything the most, or the third most, right? Assist, rebound, whatever you want. So he's in another good position because he's going to keep getting the minutes. I think we keep following that he's at like 33 minutes a game in the last like 4, and I'm going to keep riding that train.
So yeah, Beaver wasn't reminding everyone of his hard work. He noticed that there was a graphic that didn't get used. So he just wanted to make sure Josh didn't forget to share one of his bets.
No, definitely. I was going to jump in for sure.
So 52%, 28% in favor of Jazz. Looks like we're all kind of leaning towards Utah here. Washington on a back-to-back. Oh yeah, forgot to mention, Washington on a back-to-back this year. They're 0-7. Dead last in defensive efficiency and dead last in overall net efficiency on back-to-back. So no team in the NBA has been worse than the Washington Wizards on back-to-backs this year. Amazing. And tonight is a back-to-back. Sixers on the road in Indiana to play the Pacers. Someone asked, do I like prop Beavers over? I would go Jazz team total over before full game over. So Sixers
coming.
Sixers on the road in Indiana to play the Pacers. This line is 5. I pumped the brakes on this one. I didn't switch sides. I'm still leaning the same way, but I actually left this one off the ticket. I was leaning Pacers originally, and that's still the way I would lean. I'll put it up here. But I mean, if Philly had that Denver game on deck, as in tomorrow, I would definitely play the Pacers here. But they have a day off, and that game's on Saturday. This is an Eastern Conference game. I mean, I'm pretty sure the Pacers beat Philly earlier in the year too, so there might even be a little bit of a revenge spot there. I'm not betting this game. I would lean Pacers, but there's no Halliburton, so it's Pacers or pass for me. I'm not going to waste your guys' time talking about a game I'm not even betting.
Yeah, the two leans I had for this one was Pascal Siakam over 5.5 rebounds. That's now at 6.5, and I wouldn't play it there. And the other one I had is Embiid over 5.5 assists. Still may lock that Embiid one in, but the problem is that Tobias Harris is going to sit. And in his last 3 matchups against the Pacers, Embiid had 7, 7, and 6 assists. I'm assuming in a game where after he scored 70 points, they're going to make other people beat him. But there's no Melton, there's no Harris. The supporting cast is really dwindling down. So I could just see him going up and under, forcing fouls left and right. So I'm just going to stay off for this game. I would take the points with the Pacers due to the spot with the Nuggets on deck. But, yeah.
A couple questions in the comments. Kyle, if you had a gun to your head, would you lay the points? No, I said Pacers or pass. So that means that quite literally answers your question. If I had a gun to my head, I would take the Pacers. Also, someone said Jazz are terrible on the road. You might be basing that on what happened in October and November. Jazz are like 8-2 against the spread in their last 10 on the road or something crazy. Jazz have been dynamite on the road. That's the fade the Jazz on the road trend has been dead since Thanksgiving. So yeah, I would lean Pacers. And again, Prop Beaver doesn't have a graphic up because he just gave 2 leans, didn't like anything definitive. Josh?
I said
yeah,
Pacers.
I am. So
you said Pacers? Oh, I thought you were leaning on an Embiid assist prop.
I eventually got to saying, well, I would take the Pacers.
Okay.
Yeah, throw that graphic under me as well. I'm with it. My buddy JP he's pretty good better, and he's been coming at me with his stinky bet of the day, and I'm kind of liking it. And this is the stinkiest one in terms of everybody loving the 76ers. That's a huge part of it. The other part of it is you have to turn your brain off. Apparently, that's a part of the strategy here with Stinky Bet of the Day is like everything that you want to believe is the reason why, because the public is believing the same things as you are, and it's all baked into that whatever. It is a little bit stinky that it's not an 8 or 9, isn't it though? Like, shouldn't this be at 7.5, 8? Like, without Halliburton, that's bananas to me that a team that hasn't really put it together on offense in any way, unless Halliburton's just out there pushing the pace, has it. So all of the reasons that I'm giving you why I think the 76ers would win is why I'm going to go with it. I still believe in a look-ahead spot and letdown for the 76ers, regardless of the days in between. I think you just know what the next day, game on your schedule is, and that's what you're really ready for. Is like, what are you doing already to prepare for the Nuggets again? And I think that's really real for them.
Yeah, and the Pacers they're cover machines at home. I mean, they're 4-2-1 against the spread in their last 7 at home. 4-1-2. So the Pacers have only lost 1 game at home against the spread since Christmas Eve. So it's one of those games where it's like I don't love it with no Halliburton, but Pacers just always cover the number. They just continue to cover the number. So yeah, I would lean this way. Both these guys sound a little more confident in this one than I do. But yeah, that's the way I would lean. So we got 58%, 26% in favor of Philly. So community heavy on the Sixers here. And I mean, I get why. Embiid's been a freight train recently. Next, Minnesota at Brooklyn. Someone just asked Kyle needs to start giving out some stinky picks. Get ready for one. This one's disgusting. Prop Beaver, do you have anything here?
I have 2 picks, and I'm basically on the same side as you. So for spread lean, I would go with the Nets. I'd probably even take the Nets money line. But first play, Mike Conley under 7.5 assists. Don't know if he's going to play today, but if he does, I love the under here. That's at -140. Definitely drinking up some juice, but I think it's worth it. 60% of Conley's assists as a T-Wolf have come at the rim and in the paint. And what do we know about the Nets? Their defense that's anchored by Nick Claxton, and they've protected these areas extremely well. They've allowed the 4th fewest field goals made within 8 feet of the basket this season. And on top of that, this Nets team moves at the 4th slowest pace in the league over the last 10 games, with a total set at 216.5, and a very weird line for the Minnesota Timberwolves. And then on top of that, we saw in Mike Conley's lone game last year against Brooklyn with Cat, Gobert, and Ant-Man healthy, the man had 1 assist on 3 potential assists. And on the road this season with those big 3 healthy, he is just 4-14 to the over, averaging 5.8. This guy I follow on Twitter, his name's Dr. Profit. He is a very good model in terms of assists, and he hasn't pegged for 6.3 today. So I'm going to play the under at 7.5 for a full unit. If you're getting this at 6.5, still think it's worth a bite at half a unit there, especially if you're getting that plus money. So that's number 1. And now number 2. This one, if we're talking about stinky picks, this one is disgusting.
Yeah, it's gross.
This is a treacherous pick. Give me Dorian Finney-Smith over 1.5.
I thought you were going Nets.
No. Give me Dorian Finney-Smith.
Why is it disgusting? Does he not hit this?
Because he is 0 for 6 in his last 6 games, shooting 12% from three-point land. 12%.
Yo, this is like razor sharp. All right, let's hear it.
Yeah.
Why are we doing this?
Now he's facing a Minnesota defense.
Wait. Just so I'm understanding. So you're taking a guy over 1.5 3-pointers made that hasn't hit a 3 in 6 games. And you're taking him to hit
like
2.
1. Yeah, I mean, he's 0-6 in his last 6 games in terms of hitting 2+ threes, shooting 12%.
Okay. So how many threes has he hit in the last 6 games?
I think it was 3 out of like 27 or something. It was
3
very
for
low
27.
rate.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, he's facing a Minnesota defense. Everybody knows one of the best in the league. So why are we backing him here? Well, I feel like the shooting has to come around. I mean, this is an NBA player after all. I know he's not the best, but I mean, for Christ's sakes, 12%. There's regression written all over it. And this Minnesota defense is on a back-to-back. On 0-day rest this season, they're bottom 10 in defensive efficiency. And wherever they really struggle, that's defending the 3 ball. On 0-day rest, they are 30th and above the break efficiency and 29th in overall 3-point efficiency defensively. And DFS has had a great history hitting this mark against Minnesota. Cash's last 7 of 8 matchups against them, averaging 2.6 3-pointers made on 43% shooting from outside, very efficient. And while DFS is not making his shots recently, he's had plenty of minutes and he's getting tons of looks from outside. I mean, over his last 5 games, he's averaging 30 minutes per game. With 28 plus this season, he's 15-6, averaging 2.6. On top of that, he shot the ball 6+ times in all but one of those 21 games with 28 plus minutes. With 6+ field goal attempts, he's 24-10 to the over this season. We just saw a few weeks ago Marcus Smart, who I think was shooting a similar percentage over his previous 6 games, go into LA. And there were tweets about it. I just saw a tweet about DFS today, actually, which sparked my intrigue. And they were saying Marcus Smart is shooting horrendously. Marcus Smart shot, I think he made 5 or 6 threes in that game after having 0 his previous 6. I think the same thing is going to happen today. I think DFS could go nuclear. I'm actually going to take his 3+ 3-pointers made at plus 330 on FanDuel for a small sprinkle as well.
All right, DFS 3-point party. We need 2 of them. Josh, do you have anything here?
Yeah, you get plus 330 for him to hit 3 threes.
Yeah, plus 330 for 3 threes.
Awesome. Yeah, take that. That's great.
Well, did you hear, though, he hasn't hit 2 threes in a game in 6 games?
I'm just saying from a numbers perspective, if you like 2 at minus 115, you gotta love 3 at plus 330.
Exactly.
Regardless of how.
There.
If we're going to be irrational about DFS making threes, then we got to go all in, baby. Like I'm with it. So
yeah.
And the juice is there, but no, this is razor sharp if it hits for sure. I'm the like anti 3-point good luck charm, so I'll stay off of this one so I don't like totally trash your bet by betting on it with you because every time I hit threes it misses. But I'm just gonna go with Minnesota minus 3.5. Call me as fishy as you want on it. Like. I do buy into one aspect of this, and I have to play a little bit of pop psychologist to really like justify this bet. And that is that once Chris Finch yelled at them, yes, that helped because they lost to Charlotte, and that was a big part of why they came back and they were fine, even though there was almost a backdoor cover if you had minus 11 last night on a baloney 3, which was tough to take. But if either way, like you got 10.5, then you were good. But more importantly, Ant was the focal point. It was like, all right, we're done with this gimmicky Cats hitting a bunch of threes. So I guess because he hit 43 points in the quarter or the half or whatever, like we'll keep like in the third quarter, it should have just been like, we're done here. We're going to beat the Hornets first. And then like, maybe if you want to get some of yours, Cat, you can. And that's what they did last game with Ant's usage all the way back up at like 44%. Even when he was missing shots, they were like, we don't care because as long as this is the way that the offense runs, then we're good with it. We would rather watch Ant take whatever shot he wants than hope that Cat makes a baloney 3 as the self-proclaimed best big man shooter of all time. Right. So, this has been a little bit of just trashing Cat because I'm just tired of his game, to be honest. But it's also more of like when Ant gets usage, Minnesota wins and wins well, wins pretty big. So I just also think the the opposite of thinking the world of the Nets is how I feel about them. I just think they're absolutely terrible.
They are terrible. And if you guys remember, I took the Nets +7 against the Lakers.
That was a good pick.
Yeah, it was awesome. I had the money line too. I don't know if you guys that are watching remember the reasons I took that. Because of the matchup. Now, look, I this is not a big bet at all for me. This is one. I think this is the smallest bet of the night, but I am taking Brooklyn to win. Well, Brooklyn plus 3.5. Actually, I might have got a 4. I actually think I got a 4. I'll have to check. But so, what do we know about the Brooklyn Nets? Right? They are not good defensively on the perimeter, but they can protect the rim. In fact, they have a top 10 interior defense. Minnesota attacks the basket a lot. They're top 10 in frequency, like 8th in efficiency. So this is a Minnesota offense that attacks the rim. Now, this is not one-dimensional offense like the Lakers. It's not as blatant. But this is still a Timberwolves offense that likes to it's kind of like the backbone of the offense is getting to the rim, and everything else kind of works off that. So it's a good matchup on that side of the ball. On the other side of the ball, now, again, Minnesota's pretty well-rounded, that defense. But what's the specialty of the Timberwolves defense? It's protecting the basket, right? With Rudy Gobert, Karl Anthony Towns, that's what they're elite at. The Nets have no interest in going anywhere near the basket. This is a team that lives and dies with jump shots. So it kind of, now Minnesota's been solid defensively against jump shots as well. So it's not like, oh, they're playing into the weakness of the Minnesota defense. But what it does do is kind of limit the strength of the Minnesota defense. Not to mention T-Wolves, I believe they're just 2-2 on the second leg of back-to-backs this year, 2-2 straight up, not against the spread. They just played a game in D.C., so it's not just a back-to-back. It's a back-to-back with a travel. They fly up to Brooklyn. Not D.C. to Brooklyn's a nothing flight, but still. You got a Nets team that's well-rested. It's a good spot. The line dropped from 4.5 to 4 to 3.5, so there's some sharps out there buying in on the Nets. Yeah. All right, I'm in. I don't love it. I'm reluctantly in, but I am in on Brooklyn.
Before I found these two props, I was actually going to take the Brooklyn team total over at 106.5. I think they're going to be able to shoot the 3-ball tonight. That's what I think is the route to victory. That's why I think the line is so short. I think they're going to be able to hit their threes.
So I did it again where I forgot that I did have a prop in this game, and I took under for Nick Claxton. I was ready to talk about how much I dislike the Cat and the Nets overall, both of them. But more importantly for this, the bet, like I threw the assist in there because it was originally 11.5 points. Now it's up to 12.5 for Nick Claxton if people are betting his points prop. But everything you guys said reminded me of why I picked this bet in the first place. They're not trying to go down low. And if you want the lob, it's not there, right? Like Claxton scores 72% of his makes are off of assisted field goals. He's not scoring off of any other way. It's either a second chance point, right, or putback, or he's getting a lob. And really, like this is the team it's not there against more than any other team. Rudy, that's exactly the play that he defends against, playing drop defense as much, if not more than anybody, right? So I'm good with Claxton not being able to do his thing down low. And if the Nets do cover, it is like you said, because they're raining threes.
Yeah, that's the path. It's if the Nets are having a cold shooting night, they don't stand a chance here. But if the shots are falling, I think this game comes down to the wire, and they give them a good one. I mean, the position the Nets are in, as far as where they are in the season, every game would be a big win for them to beat a Minnesota team. This is not a big game for Minnesota. They're looking at the playoffs. They're looking at down the road. They don't care about beating an Eastern Conference team. Meanwhile, the Nets are just trying to get whatever they can. They see a home game against a good team, like, hey, maybe we could grab this one. So they maybe catch them napping a little bit on a bad spot. 65%, 21% in favor of Minnesota. So obviously communities all over the T-Wolves there. Next. Nuggets, Knicks. Nuggets, Knicks. At a short line, it's down 2 or 2.5, depending on your sports book. We'll run the poll at 2.5. Nuggets minus 2.5. Knicks plus 2.5. Over 222. Under 222. And before we even get started, I'm going to put something up for me. And there it is. Under 222. Why? Because the under is 10-1 in the last 11 Knicks games. If you've been blindly betting Knicks unders, you are swimming in it right now. The under has been automatic in Knicks games. So before we even get started, why not ride that wave at least one more time? Under at 222. You guys like anything here?
Everything I like in this game would basically be dependent on if Isaiah Hartenstein plays or not. I don't know if I would take the under if Hartenstein doesn't go, because while it was okay against the Nets because they don't attack the rim, I mean, you got Jokic, you got Jamal Murray who could drive, Aaron Gordon who's always cutting to the basket. So I don't know exactly if that would be like, I don't know if that'd be the smartest play with him out. I don't think Jericho Sims is good at all whatsoever, and Precious Achiuwa is a literal embarrassment. So
yeah, but it's not just them, though. Like, OG can play defense down there.
Yes,
Randall's big.
If Hartenstein's out, they're going to...
But it's not Isaiah Hartenstein isn't the sole reason for these unders.
Dude, he's an excellent defender.
Yeah, but he's not the sole reason. He plays, 28 minutes a game?
You see a lot with one missing piece that a defense can completely collapse. Mitchell Robinson, when the defense was out at first, when they were starting Jericho Sims, the defense was horrendous.
Right. Didn't you give the same speech about the Knicks defense for Mitchell Robinson?
Yeah, I did. And then they started starting Hartenstein, and what happened? What do you know?
Exactly, my point. Next man up, man.
No, Jericho Sims is not Isaiah Hartenstein.
There's a massive... I don't think you're quite getting it. I don't think you're getting it.
Oh, you don't think I'm getting it? Jericho Sims isn't even projected to get minutes tonight. Do you have a pick? Do you have a pick, prop Eva, or not?
No, I said what it was. I'm not betting anything until I know whether Hartenstein's
going. Yeah, you did say that. All right, Josh, anything?
Yeah, I mean, I was gonna jump in with the same excuse, so I guess I'm on Team Prop Beaver here because, like, there's a pretty big gap between Isaiah Hartenstein and Jericho Sims there. And yeah, Jericho Sims is the like pseudo center, the way that Kendrick Perkins came out and played like 5 minutes in the first quarter on that Celtics team. And that is Jericho Sims now, is like, we have a big dude, see here he is, and now we shall put him back on the bench where he belongs because he's not suited for this game or any, like, there is nobody that Jokic is not going to take to the woodshed on this team at this point. I don't even think Julius Randle wants that smoke. He doesn't need the IG clips of him looking silly against Jokic, and I don't think he will take it. So I'm also off of it. Let me just be very clear entirely. If Hartenstein was in, I'd feel so much better about an under and I would just hit it. But Hartenstein has like a top 5 defensive field goal percentage at the rim,
dude,
or inside of 5 feet. Yeah. So
Yeah, so the only other thing I would do is the Aaron Gordon rebounds ladder, but besides that.
Oh, an Aaron Gordon rebounds ladder?
Oh no.
Yeah, it worked out well the last time. He had one, so I feel like he's due for a monster here.
All right. Obviously, everyone's all over the Nuggets here. 61%, 23% in favor of Denver. Next. Celtics Heat. Celtics -8. Heat +8. Over 224. Under 224. Cast your votes. Josh, anything for this one?
Oh man, I don't know what to do with this one. I'm back on my no heat diet, and I don't like betting the Celtics because of the fact that of the 3-point variance, so I just stay away. Obviously, with the Heat on the back-to-back and how bad they looked last night, maybe this is the stinky bet. I'll stay off of it. That's the last thing I'll say is just like when the Heat are not supposed to win is when they come through and just mess everything up.
You took the words out of my mouth. Favorite bet of the night. I think Heat win outright.
I'm too scared, but you go ahead and take over from what I'm spewing.
This happens every single time. I mean, it happened a bunch of times last year. The Heat always underperform when they're favorites. I mean, have you not heard me say that a bunch of times? I took the Grizzlies last night. Everyone hated it in the comments. I took the Grizzlies last night. I'm like, guys, don't take the Heat as favorites. Wait until everyone sleeps on them, and then they fuck around and beat an awesome team. That's what the Heat do. So here that happened last night. Everyone's like, oh, the Heat suck. Everyone's laying 8 points on the road in Miami. And I think the Heat win outright. I'm taking the money line too.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's live. And last thing, real quick, like I was watching that. Jimmy Butler could not have made it more clear he wasn't trying last night. It was pathetic as far as like what people caring about a regular season game. It was so odd. Like he literally had the ball with his back to the basket at the 3-point line, turned around and took a three. It went in. And he just was like laughing his way down the sideline. Like, I can't believe that went in. Did not care. Partly because I think that he was already, his head is up in this Boston game. So,
yeah, well, it's not just he didn't care because it's a regular season game. He didn't care because it's a game against the Memphis Grizzlies, a Western Conference team. And the next night, they got the Celtics on TNT. This is the game they care about.
This is it, yeah.
Everyone's watching this one. So, let me ask you guys. There's a playoff series, Boston, Miami. The Heat are going to steal 1 or 2 of those. We just saw what they did last year and went to the finals. And by the way, they were the 8 seed. The whole time, everyone's talking about how much the Heat suck. When the Heat want to show up and play, they show up and play. And I think they win, honestly. So, yeah, I like Miami +8 and the money line. Prop Beaver?
Yeah. So, in this spot, I think I'm going to lay it with the Celtics here. I know. It's a bit gross, but I think I'm going to lay it with Boston just in terms of the rest splits. I mean, Boston's 6-1 straight up and against the spread on 2 days rest. You got a Nets team a Heat team that's dead last in offensive efficiency on 0 days rest. Oh, my fucking dogs. They're 1-3 against the spread on 0 day rest as well. So they've been gross in these spots. And then I saw a nice trend on Twitter here. Celtics 21-0 overall since February 2022, playing rested against an unrested opponent. The Miami Heat are 0-6 against the spread since 2022, coming off a game where they failed to cover by 20-plus points. I just don't think that Miami has the personnel to stop this Boston team. I mean, sure, you could put Bam Adebayo on Kristaps, and you could put Haywood Highsmith on Jason Tatum, but then who the hell is stopping Jaylen Brown? And if Derek White's on tonight, then it's just going to be tough. I think this Heat team needs a little bit of time to get some cohesion with Terry Rozier in the lineup now. So I'm going to lay the points with Boston here.
I honestly can't believe how many people, I'm not talking about you, I mean like the poll and how many, like, can't believe how many people are just down to lay 8 points with Boston in Miami. It's like short-term memory.
I keep seeing all of the Twitterverse on Miami, so I'm fading that.
Oh, really? Okay. So the Twitterverse has got it right then.
Sure.
You know what I was thinking? As soon as Doc Rivers took over for Milwaukee, I was like, "Oh my god! If they play Miami in the first round, that is going to be miserable."
No, did you see my tweet about that?
I didn't see it.
The perfect NBA script right here, and this might be a hit home with me because I'm in Jersey and I hate Philadelphia, but they fired Doc Rivers, run him out of town for losing in the second round. If Doc Rivers beats Philly in the second round of the playoffs to eliminate them, it would be like so perfect. It would be almost poetic.
They would cry.
Yeah, it would be rough.
Be gross.
All right, next game. Kings at Warriors. Kind of curious to see what the community's feeling on this one because I bet the Kings and I like it. But like, if you're strong on the Warriors, I'm not going to argue with you because like I feel like we're all kind of grasping at straws to try and guess how the Warriors are going to look over the next few weeks. They look pretty strong last night, but the final score didn't really indicate how that game went. The Hawks were in it the entire time. And then the Warriors pulled away in the final like 5 or 6 minutes, but that was actually a somewhat close game. I believe it was tied at the beginning of the fourth quarter, or late in the third quarter, something like that. So that wasn't last night's game against the Hawks wasn't nearly as much of a blowout as you think. I don't think anyone could say for sure how Golden State is going to look now. I mean, they've had that extended stretch of time off. Right before that happened, they looked bad. They were really struggling. I think they were 3-8 or something in the 11 games before that, something like that. So I'm putting my bet up. I like the Kings. Kings are also rested. This is a rivalry game for them. These teams, that series was awesome last year, the playoff series between these two. And now I feel like this is like another low-key rivalry that doesn't really get talked about as much. These teams show up for these. I get it if you're on Golden State +2, but I like the Kings. I'm gonna lay the 2 with Sacramento.
Yeah, I like the Warriors here. But my favorite play in this game is Steph Curry over 36.5 PRAs. You get that at -115 on DraftKings. I just don't think there's a better spot you can find for Curry. This Kings defense has been horrendous defending the 3-ball lately. 25th in above the break frequency and 30th in efficiency, allowing the most above the break field goals made over the last 10 games. That Steph Curry guy, well, he lives above the break. 51% of his attempts come there. That's
51, really?
97th percentile amongst guards. Yeah, he lives there. And this is a team that Curry's just destroyed in the past. I even took out his playoff games because that had a minute boost. His last 13 of 15 regular season games, he's averaging 43.4 points per game against them. And no CP3 on the court has been massive for Curry's rebounds and assist totals. He's averaging 12.7 in games with 30-plus minutes without CP3 compared to 8.5 with CP3 on the court. So that's a 4 rebound and assist difference per 30 minutes. And without CP3 in 30-plus minutes this season, he's 5-1 to the total, averaging 39.3. He's 55-11 since 2022, averaging 42.6. And I just don't think the Kings have the personnel to guard good opposing guards. You just saw DeJounte Murray with 51, TJ McConnell with 31, Lillard with 41, Ivy with 33, McCollum 41. And 0 days rest has been no issue for Curry. 5-1 without CP3 in 30-plus minutes since 2022. So I just think that there's a lot of angles working for him here. Should be fired up. De'Aaron Fox is the only person I think signed to Steph Curry's brand. I forget what it is. He has some sort of brand thing. Fox is his only athlete that he sponsors. So it's kind of like a mentor. It's like a Padawan fucking apprentice
a Padawan
type thing.
A Padawan.
Yeah, A Padawan. It's like the master.
Is that a Star Wars
apprentice.
reference?
You want to son your apprentice, okay? You can have your apprentice showing you up. So I think he's gonna go ahead and son De'Aaron Fox here, teach him a thing or two.
So you're taking Steph Curry's over because you think Fox is a Padawan.
He's gonna deck him.
You dead ass said that.
A deckage.
So I just am confused. You said you would lean Warriors, and you mentioned the Sacramento defense.
Is poopy stain.
Why are we not mentioning that the Warriors defense is dead last in the NBA in the last 10 games, literally 30th worst defense in the NBA? No mention of that.
I'm not talking about the Warriors pick. I'm talking about my Curry pick.
Well, yeah, I know, but I was addressing the Warriors pick in the beginning.
All right, I'll let you go.
So, as someone who watched every minute of that Hawks-Warriors game last night, it's almost like a shame to admit it. Like, I watched the whole thing. What I saw a lot of Hawks missing wide open looks, and which is just like, the Hawks just have no shot making anymore. I don't know what happened to Bogdanovich. I don't know what happened to Jalen Johnson. I mean, missing wide open looks by a foot. Basically, the point I'm making is Golden State's defense entering the break they had was the worst in basketball. They're dead last in defensive efficiency in the last 10 games. I don't think last night was enough evidence to stop fading this defense because the Hawks could have scored a lot more than they did. That's what I was adding. But yeah, I'm on the Kings, and I like it. I'm betting it. It's not a lean. I'm on it. Josh?
Yeah, I'm staying away from it because I have player props for it, but I'm staying away from the side because the only reasons that I would come up with that the Warriors are going to win this game is because of non-statistical, actual on the floor basketball stuff. It would be it's the Warriors versus Kings, and to Prabhir's point, Steph Curry suns this franchise entirely, much less De'Aaron Fox. And then, they come through in these spots, and they had a recent tragedy that really helped uplift things in here, whatever, right? Like, I don't want to even really get into that stuff, so I stay away from the size on this one. But Steph is going to Steph tonight, and I think it's going to be through assists. That's the first play, is over 5.5. Also laddering it up to 8+. Also taking a double-double, because it's plus 850 for the double-double on DraftKings, and it's also plus 850 for him to get that get the 10+ assists. You see what I'm saying? And he actually got 10 boards against this team earlier this season. So if I take the double-double for the same money, and I've got 2 outs there with the assists and the rebounds, I'll take that at the same number. But that's just why I'm putting at least like 0.1 on that, just to cover myself for the Steph going bananas game overall. And then as far as the rest of the assists go, like, yeah, you mentioned it mostly, Prop Beaver. Like, the rebounds go up, also the assists go up, because it's back to just him being the floor general. If you watch highlights of the games where he's playing with CP3, they're on the floor the whole time, you're like, CP3's been dribbling for like the last 9 seconds, and Steph's literally a dude standing on the wing now. What are we doing here? That doesn't make any sense. And like, I'm not saying that CP3 and him don't work together necessarily. I'd have to look further into it, because they still have positive net stuff together, but
it's just different what we're used to. It's just different. It's just different than what we're used to seeing for Golden State.
That's really it. Yeah, is like, I cannot believe Steph Curry's the one waiting for the ball right now. But now he's just it's the same stuff. The other thing with the assists is Mike Brown, former defensive coordinator for the Warriors, basically, is just throwing everybody at him. That's the other thing you see especially when CP3 is not on the floor, and especially if Draymond's not on the floor, which he's not starting. So we'll see what that looks like. I'm pretty sure it's possible. I guess he does, but that would be a really late minute addition by Kerr. Like, with Draymond out there too, they don't like to double him quite as much, because then you've got a guy that's a good outlet for him to play 4-on-3, whether it's Chris Paul or Draymond Green. Now you've got a lot of Steph, maybe a little bit less of those guys, happy to force the ball right out of his hands as much as possible with double teams, which leaves other guys open. And we might see some secondary assists for him, but he's been going well over this number without CP3. 7 of the 8 games he played this season without CP3. He's gone over this number and does this consistently against the Kings, especially without Chris Paul, going back to the playoffs, all that. So love the assist there. And the last thing is Wiggins. So hold your nose if you want to talk about stinky bets, because this is a dude where, like, if you want to take it over on Andrew Wiggins, and the last thing you want is it to be like, halfway through the third quarter, and you're like, good Lord, he has 7 points and he's bricked like most of his shots, not getting to the free throw line. I get all that. That's the Andrew Wiggins we've seen for a year and a half. I'm getting a little bit ahead of the tide. Like, I would have called this 4 games ago if I was really getting ahead of the turn for Andrew Wiggins, but there is now a direct correlation between him getting more minutes, Draymond not being on the floor quite as much and coming off the bench, and CP3 not being on the team, and them being like, look, man, we've been putting you out there for 26, 25 minutes in the first like 35 games of the season. Now it's time for you to get back up to 30 to 32 minutes and really ramp up into like the dude that was the second best player in the finals against the Celtics. And so they're giving him the field goal attempts. Those are back up to 13 a game. The minutes are back up to 30 a game. So if the usage is going to be there for him, I have to rely on that more than anything, even though I have to hold my nose when I do it, because he's capable of the 2 for 11 game. We all know it.
So Wiggins over, and you got Steph assists, kind of like a ladder going there with the double-double.
Yep.
In case you guys didn't see the first one, there it is. 6+ assists, 8+ assists, double-double.
And the last thing I would lean with you, not probably, with you, Kyle, because I would say that the idea of the Kings being for real after their win versus the Hawks, these two teams just played the same team. One of them looked like they owned them the whole game, which was the Kings, and looked like they had a legit turnaround to their recent stinkiness coming up. The Dubs just look like the same Dubs who got a lucky win at the end of the game.
And this guy, Tony, in the comments, I could tell by the way he typed this that he watched the same game I did, because it was disgusting. He said, Kyle's right. Atlanta missed so many uncontested shots. It was pathetic. There was one sequence at the end, and it was in the fourth quarter, and the Hawks brought it back with an 8. And I was plus 6.5. So I was like, all right, we're still in this. I'm going to get to watch the end of this game. And the Hawks got to stop. Then Bogdanovich missed a wide open shot from the corner. Missed it. Somehow the Hawks get the long rebound. It goes out to Jalen Johnson. Wide open. And I swear to God, he missed the shot by a foot. He missed it by a foot. And I was like, yeah, they just can't hit shots. So I think the Hawks could have won that game last night.
Putting a number to it to put the cap on it, they had, according to the player tracking on NBA.com Advanced, they had 54 uncontested shots, which is like 4 feet or more of distance from you and your defender.
54 uncontested shots.
54 uncontested.
That's what I'm saying. The story of that game, I watched the whole thing, was the Hawks are missing wide open shots. So let's take a look at the poll, and we're split here. I mean, waiting for it. 45%, 44%. So the Kings did win the poll, but community split on this one between Kings and Warriors. Next, and it sucks the last game of the night. I'm going to run the poll, listen to what these guys think. I got nothing as of right now. I can tell you which way I'm leaning, but I kind of want to hear what these guys say first to see if there's anything I like. I didn't bet anything on this. Didn't even put it on the ticket. I skipped this one in the YouTube video last night. Obviously, LeBron James was questionable. I don't even know if that's the case. I haven't even thought about placing a bet here. I was kind of just feeling it out. Prop Beaver, do you have anything you like here?
Yeah, I do. I hope that LeBron plays, so the pace will be a little bit quicker. I'm going with Kobe White over 32.5 PR raise, minus 110. If you've been betting this guy this season, which for some stupid reason, I bet him like twice and haven't gone back to him.
He's always hitting, right?
Yeah, he's always cashing. I mean, he's been wagging this season with heavy minutes and no Levine. He's cashed his last 17 to 22 with 34 plus minutes, averaging 36, and his last 7 to 8 on the road without Levine, averaging 37.6. Now going to find himself in a dream spot against LA, who just consistently cannot limit point guards. On the season, allowing the 6th most points per game, 4th highest field goal percentage, and most three-pointers made to point guard, which is music to our ears because Kobe White is wet from three. This is an LA team that has stunk at defending above the break three-pointers overall over the last 10 games. They're allowing the second most above the break three-pointers field goals made. And White is streaky from three. He had a brutal 4-game stretch where he shot just 17.6% from three, but last game he bounced back. He sunk 4 or 5 attempts, and I think that's going to be a sign of things to come. Usually when once one happens, he just continues that streak. So I'm hoping he could get hot tonight as well. We've seen guards clown their lines against the Lakers recently. Harden with 35, Brogdon with 39, Cam Thomas with 40, Doncic with 56, Sexton with 36, Beal with 47. I could go on for days. This is a line that I just think is too low. He cashes rebounds plus assist line 4 straight against LA with 30 plus minutes, and Levine played in 3 of those games. Last game against him specifically, this really stood out to me. He had 25 rebounds plus assist chances, which is a ton. So as long as he's just shooting well tonight, which I think he should, very favorable matchup, and the rebounds and assists will be there, I think that at minus 110, this is great value. Hoping Kobe White could stay clutch for the community yet again.
Okay. Josh?
No, I'm glad you said first that I'm in the exact same boat as you, Sauce. I don't even know who's playing in this game.
I'll take it then. While Prop Beaver was talking, so obviously, as we know, we talked about this when I picked the Nets against the Lakers. As Prop Beaver said, Lakers are terrible defensively on the perimeter, which is why I took the Nets, because that's all the Nets do is shoot from out there. So while Prop Beaver was talking, he took Kobe White's over because Kobe White takes shots from out there. But while he was talking, I was looking here. The Bulls' shot frequency from above the break for three in the last 5 games, 25th and 28th in efficiency. So the Bulls Kobe White may be hitting from out there, but the Bulls as a whole are not. So if the Bulls plan on, even though the Lakers' defense on the interior even looks bad in the last 5 games, but it has been good. So I think I would go here. I'm going to put it up. I'm going to put up Lakers.
Lakers. Let me bring one thing up while you're doing it.
Yeah.
Because of all that, how many threes did the Nets rain on the Lakers in that game?
That's a good question. That's a good question.
If they distorted everything with like 42 threes that they took, and then they're down low. But I will also say Nick Claxton sunned AD in that game with like 22 and 14.
Yeah, holy shit.
22 and 14 in that one. So I would just look into that to understand if they got some shit distorted in the last 5 games, you know.
They shot at 40.4% from three, 19 of 47. So I mean,
47.
Yeah, that's a lot of 3-point attempts. That would definitely throw the attempts, the frequency off a little bit. But the efficiency right here, I don't know. They can't see my screen. Only you guys can. Yeah. 24th and 25th in rim and paint. This is usually the strength of the Lakers here. Yeah. So Lakers interior defense not quite what it was a month ago.
Weird, man.
I'll put the Lakers up
too. And I like that because Kobe White has drastically increased his amount of drives to the rim. Like previous seasons, he was sitting very low in terms of percentile. Now he's, I think, like 70th plus, 80th plus percentile in rim frequency as well. So attacking the rim, which the Lakers have all of a sudden been weakened. Attacking the 3-point, which they've sucked at guarding. I just think that that's a good one. I also do like the Lakers for now.
I was just going to say, gun to your head, Prop Beaver. What are you taking? And it's Lakers.
Just don't blow them out for fuck's sakes, please.
All right. Lakers. Wow, another poll that split. Hold on, let's do end poll, see who won. Lakers 45%, 44%. So Lakers slightly win that one. Let's do the. Oh, I actually have an underdog pick 'em real quick.
Boy.
I went with Walker Kessler higher than 16.5 PRAs. Jimmy Butler higher than 28.5 PRAs. De'Aaron Fox over than 32 points and assists. It's a 3-pick, so it pays out 6 times. If you don't have an underdog fantasy account, it's available in any state highlighted in this map. So if you're in one of the states highlighted in yellow, head over to the website, or you can download the app Underdog Fantasy. When you make your account, make sure you use the promo code BET, BET. That'll get you a $100 deposit bonus match. So you deposit $100, they will give you a free $100 to play with. All right, let's talk community parlay. Oh, by the way, I put up a college. Someone was asking before, but I didn't want to interrupt because we were talking about NBA. I like Arizona State, by the way, on the road in Oregon tonight. Someone was talking college basketball and asking about that game before. They're probably not even in. That was like 4 games ago. Probably not even still watching. But for those, if that guy is still watching, that's where I like.
At least you answered his question.
Yeah, an hour later, I'll get to it.
Yeah.
There's no way he's not still watching. You kidding me?
Yeah, he's glued to the TV.
Yeah.
Timberwolves definitely. Jazz money line, Sixers money line, Timberwolves money line, and Nuggets money line. So 4 square road favorites here. Only can choose one, community. Which road favorite is going into the community parlay?
Oh my god.
I mean, looking at the slate today, it's like almost all road favorites.
Yeah.
It's Thursday, man. It's weird, wacky Thursdays. Like the Pacers are gonna win by 12. It's gonna be
yeah. The game I decided to pass on. That'll be the one I get right.
Right.
All right, cast your votes. Cast your votes. Quickly will not be playing tomorrow night against the Clippers. If that factors into anything you guys are doing tonight. Star Wars.
I really wish they weren't playing the Clippers, man. I saw that he's out and I saw that Portal's out, and I'm like, damn. With Quickly out and Portal out and no Siakam, that's like the perfect spot to play a Scotty Barnes triple-double. But the Clips are a pretty brutal matchup in terms of racking up the assists, so I don't know.
That brutal matchup for his exact archetype of player.
Yeah, so yeesh.
And the person said
shoot from 3. Yeah.
That report came from Star Wars Unlimited Universe. That's who reported that. Someone said, Kyle, you and Beaver go back and forth like brothers. You don't understand. We sit next to each other all week. He works 7 feet away from my desk. So, yeah, try working next to someone for 40 hours and not curse him out every few hours. Just happens.
It's good for the show, man. Your guys' bickering is definitely entertaining as hell to me.
That's like actually how we talk to each other here, like when we're just working.
I feel like you're toning it down for the show.
Yeah, exactly. It's more hostile in the office.
36%, 31%. Jazz money line makes it. So we're starting with Jazz. All right. We got 3 more games, so we'll run a poll with the other 3, and then we'll do some second-place finishers. Sixers money line got second place, so if you like the Sixers there, you will get another chance to vote them. Celtics money line, Kings money line did win that poll. You know what? I'm going to put Kings and Warriors in here because it was split, and then we'll do Lakers money line. All right? Second leg of the community parlay. Let's see what we got. Looking like Celtics. I don't like this one, guys. I like the Heat. I think the Heat win tonight. Those of you clicking, you're voting on Celtics.
Yeah, I should have gotten in there.
It looks like they like the Celtics. I'll give it another 5 seconds. It's looking like Celtics is going to get it. 5.
I'm going to let you guys change this.
Yeah, so that's too late, though. The damage is done. 3, 2, 1, end poll. Celtics money line. So Jazz money line, Celtics money line. Now we have Kings, Warriors, Sixers, Nuggets. Those are the 4 second place. So we're looking at a really chalky one here. Sixers money line. This, all favorites. This is Prop Beaver said he wanted a community parlay with minus odds.
I want like a minus 266 community parlay.
I don't think you'll get quite there, but this one will be a juicy one as far as chalk. It'll be.
But I think a lot of these are like short.
Well, not these two, Jazz and Celtics. I mean, if you
That's
get
true, but none
none
yesterday we had
ones.
two that were like
If-
10 or worse.
if they get the Sixers are winning. Sixers are laying 5.
Okay.
But then
All right, guys.
the other 3 are short favorites. So Warriors are a dog too. You have 5 more seconds because we need the first and second place finishers here are going in, and Kings and Nuggets are like tied for second. Looks like Sixers is definitely going to make it. So we got the 3 biggest favorites on the board in here. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sixers and Kings. Yeah, this is not going to be a big payout.
Plus 359.
Oh, it's not that bad.
No, but yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. For a 4-leg, it's not great. Community parlay.
4 road favorites, money lines, and the parlay. Jesus Christ. I feel like, I don't know.
4 road team money lines.
Can I ask? I just want to know real quick. So, like the way that how do you compartmentalize which ones you pit up against each other?
What I do, whoever won the poll earlier in the show. That's why, whoever won the poll. That's why sometimes I'll put an underdog. It's because they voted for the underdog in the poll.
But then you just take the first 4.
Oh, I just go in order of schedule. Yeah.
Okay, got it.
It's probably a better way to do it. That's just
that's great. That's great.
So Jazz, Celtics, Sixers, Kings plus 359. Let's get a hit tonight, community. Thanks again. Thanks as always for watching, I should say. Gonna upload an NBA video tonight, and then tomorrow, 4 p.m., same time, go through the NBA. And then Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m., we'll do our Saturday college basketball show. Oh, NFL videos for those of you. Actually, who am I kidding? You all want to. You all bet in the NFL this weekend. We know that. We're gonna upload those, I think, on Friday night and Saturday morning. So the Chiefs Ravens will be up on Friday night, and then the Lions 49ers on Saturday morning. That's when I plan on uploading those for those of you who are interested. All right, let's have a great night. Remember to bet responsibly, and we'll see you guys soon, man.
Doses.